in the English Premier League, precisely the London Derby, where the Gunners, of course, they went to the London Stadium to take on the Hammers. Struggling Hammers in the English Premier League, of course, since the exit of David Moyes. The Hammers, they've not been the Hammers we used to know. Of course, the Hammer is beginning to turn a very heavy weapon for them to actually lift up to harm their opponent. Quite unfortunate, it was a decimation. Back-to-back visits, of course, back-to-back wins for Arsenal against the Hammers. Of course, last season it was a 6-0 decimation. Of course, this time again, Arsenal, they went there and annihilated the Hammers. 5 goals to the last 2 meetings between Arsenal and West Ham. Arsenal, they've scored 11 goals and conceded just 2. So the last time Arsenal, were up against the Hammers, it wasn't Julian Lopetegui that was there. It was David Moyes, but they got a very high score line, 6 goals to nothing. Of course, this time a different coach entirely, and they were able to almost replicate the score line. Arsenal versus West Ham, they had a field, obviously.
Yes, that was a very beautiful game. I saw that game, how they were able to score 2 goals in the space of 2 minutes or so. They were able to score that goal, one from Wan-Bissaka, and so 2 games in a row now he's been able to score 2 goals. And of course, the Italian getting a goal from the former Chelsea player, getting a goal Melson from a free kick. That was a very good one. With that, Moyes, that was a really that was a humiliation then when Moyes was there. But this time around, that does not justify the fact that maybe Ange Postecoglou is a better manager, because he was able to score 2 and the scoreline was not 6 from the score was not 6 from Ange Postecoglou. So because Ange Postecoglou, I beg your pardon, right now he is a manager right now, and Moyes, I think they defeated Moyes 4-0, 6-0.
Ange Postecoglou, you're getting me confused. Julian Lopetegui or Ange Postecoglou?
Oh, Julian Lopetegui, I meant to say. No, sir, beg your pardon. Julian Lopetegui said they put 5 past him, and while Moyes was there, it was 6. So that does not justify the fact that Lopetegui is a better manager compared to Moyes. But all things being equal, I think in that game, Arsenal were in control in the first half, and the second half they played a beautiful football. The goals coming from we saw the goal that was scored by Saka, a beautiful one. So all things being equal, I think Arsenal played a very beautiful goal, and I don't see anything stopping them right now. If the likes of other teams, lower team can get the result from West Ham, then why can Arsenal do so?
All right, Kanute, looking at the starting lineup, of course, Jorginho had to play as the anchor man in that very game, sitting deep for Arsenal. Of course, that was the original position for Thomas Partey, but Jorginho came in. Would you agree with me that he has done a little bit better compared to what he has been doing previously when he first joined Arsenal Football Club?
He has always been giving his performance anytime he's called upon. I think he knows that. He knows his role in the team. He has more like a leadership role in the team. He knows he won't start. He knows, depends on the situation of the game. He knows when the likes of maybe Partey gets injured or have a slight injury, that's where he will come in, when he needs to come in. In terms of, it depends on the situation of the game. He knows that there are some games that, no, he wouldn't be a starter. So I think, but anytime he comes in, he has the opportunity to come in and give is a part to the team. He does which people tend to forget that this guy is when he was a bit younger, he was a brilliant footballer, a good passer of the ball. He orchestrates things from the midfield. He's a good midfielder. So I think anytime Partey,
so much loved by Anthony Conte.
Yeah, anytime Partey gets injured, there's little fear compared to the likes of maybe Saka or Odegaard. I think when Partey gets injured in that position, there are about 2 or 3 players that can come in and fill in that position.
A statement win for Arsenal. Looking at the formation put up there by Mikel Arteta, is looking like the best side for Arsenal Football Club. In the absence of Thomas Partey, of course, Jorginho had to fill in that position. But looking at the best Arsenal they've had currently,
I think I think that position depends on the situation of the game. Now you have Merino, who is a brilliant player. He's a very technical player. He may not be fast, he may not be physical, but he's very technical.
Who does he displace in this very lineup?
It depends on the situation of the game. There are some games that probably he had to start the Rise. There are some games that probably maybe he feels that Merino will be best suited in that game. So I think, but in terms of but Partey definitely, if Partey is fit, because he wasn't 100% fit that match. I know there's a match in midweek, so he didn't have to take any risk on him. That's why he decided not to put him in the team at all. But in terms of position, I think there's the position that is not certain. But I think that position depends on the kind of. I think Arteta approaches some games with some players depending on the match. There are the likes of Saka and Odegaard, Saliba, what's his name, his defensive partnership Gabriel. Those ones are set in their permanent place in that team, because definitely you can. Those guys are very important to the team. But it depends. Like Trossard started that game against West Ham because he felt West Ham would probably mark Wan-Bissaka will mark one-on-one with so he had to bring Trossard, who doesn't run with the ball, who is more technical, coming deep, going inside. So I think it depends on the situation of the games that he uses on certain players. But there are some players that their plays in the team are certain. So it depends on. So I wouldn't say Trossard is ahead of Martinelli or like the next game probably against Man U. I feel Martinelli will be coming because of his pace and probably take advantage of that position.
A statement win for Arsenal, a 5-star performance against the Hammers. Of course, that win has taken them second on the log after 13 games played in the English Premier League 2024-2025 campaign. They have 25 points. Of course, in their last 3 games, in their last 5 games, it has been 2 draws, 1 loss, and 2 wins for Arsenal. Back-to-back wins. Are they beginning to turn gradually a title contenders? Because 9 points is separates them after playing the same number of games with table toppers in Liverpool. So anybody will agree with me that Arsenal, they are automatically becoming title contenders. 9 games, just 3 games, of course, makes up 9 points.
I think Arsenal they are title contenders. They've done that the past 2 seasons, and this time around I think they are, regardless of what the Liverpool are doing right now with the points difference and all that. I think Arsenal are still there. Right now they are occupying the 2nd position. So even if it is 9 points different from there, I think Arsenal are still title contenders, regardless of the points, the difference between them. Arsenal are title contenders.
All right, let's talk about the Hammers. Kanute, prior to that very game, it was a win against the Magpies. Talking about in Newcastle, they went to St. James's Park, defeated Newcastle 2 goals to nothing. Of course, we're like, wow, the Hammers are beginning to come back. Julian Lopetegui is a man that actually wants his job to be very much safe. He wants to keep his job. But moving straight into that very game against Arsenal, of course, we know it's a derby game. Arsenal, a far more better side compared to the Hammers, but a decimation. What does that mean for Julian Lopetegui? His job continues to be on the line, or they'll give him a benefit of a doubt?
I think that victory over Newcastle, I think probably will buy in some time. Because if they have lost that Newcastle game and still loses this Arsenal game, which was inevitable, because definitely I knew Arsenal definitely will defeat them on Saturday. And probably, I think, I think for him, that Newcastle, like I said, that Newcastle victory, but it will buy him a little time. And if the commentator even talked about that, the next couple of matches, 4 matches or so, 5 matches, there are fixtures that he can actually win, that he has to win, that are not difficult fixtures. So it depends on those fixtures. In the next 3 games or 4 games, if you can pick in the next 5 games, let's say 5 games, you can pick 9 points out of 15 points. That would be a good return, and probably he will keep giving him small. But if he doesn't win,
can you say his next fixture, he'll be going to the King Power Stadium to take on Ruud van Nistelrooy and Leicester City.
It's a match that he has to win, because player to player, West Ham,
he has to win. Van Nistelrooy wants to start on a very good
level
note
right now.
Ruud wants to start on a very good note.
In terms of form, but in terms of quality, I think Kudos is coming back.
In terms of quality, I think West Ham have more players.
West Ham is better in terms of quality. West Ham better. Kudos is coming back. They have, in terms of, I can't start naming one player by player. They are better. So these are the normally going the way to Leicester City. It won't be an easy game. Nistelrooy's first home game. He wants to prove a point, but West Ham should get a result from that game.
Yes, Kanute believes West Ham should get a result against Leicester City at the King Power Stadium. No doubt, Ruud van Nistelrooy, that will be his very first game in charge. He wouldn't want to start on a losing note, because it is.
That will Lopetegui want his job to be taken away from him.
Yes, the 2 managers want a win.
They want a win.
Yes,
they want to win.
Lopetegui wants to keep his job, and Ruud van Nistelrooy officially starting with the Foxes. Of course, he wants to start with a win. Of course, that game is a game to actually look out for in the next coming days.